Right. So if you're into crypto at all, and especially if you're into Ethereum,
Uh-huh.
this is going to be something you're probably thinking about a lot right now.
Yeah.
And that is the question of security.
Security, yeah, for sure.
And, you may even hold some ETH, or maybe you're just curious about it.
Right.
But we're about to go dap on a pretty hardcore take on Ethereum's security.
Okay.
And it's a perspective straight from the Bitcoin maximalist camp.
All right. Yeah, those guys,
Yeah, they have some pretty strong opinions.
they certainly do. And they've been really vocal after that recent Bybit exchange hack. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, $1.4 billion gone.
Just like that.
Yeah. Crazy.
So today we're going beyond the headlines
All right.
to really unpack what are their core arguments,
Yeah.
what are the technical details behind all this, and what does it mean for us,
Right.
for our own crypto journey.
For sure, because even if you don't agree with everything they say, I think they often raise points worth considering, so.
Yeah, and they force you to think.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's all about getting that balanced perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So first things first, we've got to address the classic Bitcoin versus altcoin debate, right?
Yeah, the age-old battle.
We've all heard the criticisms that Bitcoin is outdated.
Right. It's clunky.
It lacks the fancy smart contracts that Ethereum boasts.
Right.
But Bitcoin supporters, they have a pretty strong counter.
They do. They say, look, Bitcoin scripting, it's called script.
Okay.
It does allow for smart contracts,
Okay.
but it prioritizes security through simplicity.
So it's almost like a minimalist approach.
Exactly. Focusing on the essentials.
Yeah, so it's about striking a balance, right?
Always
Like how much functionality versus how much security. And
Yeah.
it reminds me of, just software design in general.
Oh, totally.
Like the more features you cram into a program, the more potential bugs and vulnerabilities.
Precisely. Yeah, you get feature creep, and then all of a sudden it's just a mess.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the examples that Bitcoin advocates love to bring up is the Lightning Network.
Well, the Lightning Network, yeah, that's a great example.
Right.
Because it shows how powerful, simple smart contracts can be.
Right.
It uses these basic contracts like hash locks and time locks to enable really fast and secure transactions off of the main Bitcoin blockchain. So
it's kind of like this layer 2 solution.
exactly.
That's designed to increase scalability, but still maintain those security features.
Exactly, without sacrificing speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, let's get to the heart of the matter. Why are these Bitcoin maximalists so concerned about Ethereum?
Okay, let's get down to it.
And they often point to that recent Bybit exchange hack as a prime example of their concerns.
Right, and it's not just one single vulnerability that led to that hack, right?
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, it's like a chain reaction.
Exactly, like a domino effect.
Yeah.
First, you had someone deploying a malicious smart contract. Then they manipulated the user interface to deceive those Bybit executives. Then the executives blindly signed these transactions without verifying. And it's just a cascade of failures.
So that brings up a really good point. Is it just inherently easier to make these mistakes or to overlook these crucial details when you're dealing with a system as complex as Ethereum?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
It's probably a combo of the technology itself and human error. Complex systems are just harder to audit, harder to grasp.
Right.
And therefore, they're just more vulnerable.
Yeah, and the Bitcoin camp, they really emphasize this point.
They do. They say even if you're using a hardware wallet,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be like the gold standard of security,
Right.
it can't fully protect you on Ethereum
Yes.
because the smart contracts are too complex to fully verify.
Yeah, and hardware wallets are great for keeping your keys safe.
Absolutely. Offline. Yeah.
But then when you have to interact with these smart contracts,
That's where things get tricky.
yeah, even sophisticated hardware wallets,
They struggle.
they struggle to analyze exactly what those contracts are doing.
Right.
And that's where that security gap comes in.
Exactly. Attackers love to exploit that.
Now, on top of that,
Okay.
and this is a big difference from Bitcoin,
Uh-huh.
Ethereum doesn't have this built-in multi-signature support.
Right.
So can you explain, what is multi-sig and why does it matter?
Multi-signature or multi-sig basically means you need multiple parties to approve a transaction
Okay.
before it can be executed. So
Like multiple signatures on a check?
exactly. It's like having two signatures on a check to
Yeah.
prevent fraud.
Yeah.
Bitcoin has this built into its core protocol,
Okay.
which makes it more secure, especially for handling big sums of money.
Okay.
And since Ethereum doesn't have native multisig, exchanges have to come up with their own workarounds.
So it's like these clunky...
Clunky, yeah. And often they involve complex smart contract setups.
Oh, great. So more complexity.
More complexity, and again, hard to verify.
So you're trusting the exchange to implement this perfectly.
You are, yeah, that's a big assumption.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you got the Ethereum Foundation.
Right.
They generally refuse to intervene in these major hacks.
Right. Which is interesting.
It is interesting.
Because it reinforces that whole code is law.
Yeah, the decentralization aspect.
Yeah, but it also means that users are kind of left high and dry.
Pretty much, yeah. Little recourse if something goes wrong.
Yeah. So it's got to be incredibly frustrating.
Oh, absolutely.
For anyone who's lost, significant funds in these hacks.
For sure.
So is this Bybit hack just a one-off event?
Yeah.
Or is there a bigger pattern here?
That is the question, and the source we're looking at today seems to suggest that it's not an isolated incident.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're going to delve into the history of Ethereum security, or lack thereof, coming up.
So this article we're looking at claims there's, like a history of vulnerabilities in Ethereum, going all the way back to, 2017.
Yeah, 2017, that was a big year, because that's when we saw the infamous DAO hack.
The DAO?
Yeah, the DAO. So a decentralized autonomous organization built on Ethereum.
Okay.
It was exploited due to vulnerabilities in its smart contract code.
Okay.
Resulted in a loss of, well, at the time, it was millions of dollars worth of ETH.
Millions, even back then. Wow.
Oh, yeah. It was massive.
That's crazy.
It shook the Ethereum community to its core. It forced them to really confront, what are the potential consequences of these smart contract vulnerabilities.
Right, and the whole debate about innovation versus security.
Exactly. How much risk are we willing to take in pursuit of these new features?
And how do we balance it?
Yeah, it's a tough question.
So, okay, this idea that Ethereum isn't even safe in cold storage.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
I always thought cold storage was the ultimate, safety net.
You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But remember, it all comes back to those complex smart contracts. Even when your private keys are offline in a cold wallet, you're still interacting with the blockchain.
So walk me through this.
Okay, imagine you have some ETH in your cold wallet.
Okay.
You come across this new DeFi project that looks amazing, high returns, everyone's talking about it.
Right, sounds great.
You decide, I'm going to invest.
Okay.
Now, to invest, you need to interact with their smart contract,
Right.
deposit your ETH.
Yep.
But imagine this project is actually a scam.
Oh, no.
The smart contract is designed to drain your funds.
As soon
as you approve the transaction. Your private keys are offline, but the moment you sign that transaction authorizing that interaction, boom.
Oh, man, it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
That's like signing a blank check.
Pretty much.
And not knowing where it's going.
Exactly. So understanding smart contracts, verifying their code is crucial.
Yeah. It sounds like there's a hidden vulnerability there.
There is. And remember, Ethereum doesn't have that built-in multi-sig support like Bitcoin does.
Right, right. So multi-sig is like that extra layer of protection.
Exactly. It's like requiring multiple people to sign off before funds can be moved.
So how do exchanges handle large amounts of ETH then?
Well, they often have to create their own multi-sig solutions using smart contracts.
Which, oh great, more complexity.
More complexity, exactly.
So then the security of your ETH on an exchange depends on how well they've implemented this.
It does, yeah. And that can be a bit of a gamble.
Right. It's not as robust as having it built in.
Exactly. It's a workaround.
And then there's the Ethereum Foundation, refusing to intervene in these hacks.
Right. The code is law principle.
Yeah, which I get it.
I do too.
But when millions or even billions of dollars are stolen,
it's tough.
It's hard to swallow that pill.
It is. And I think that's what Bitcoin maximalists point to.
Okay.
Whereas they look, Bitcoin, it's a more hands-off approach.
Yeah.
Simpler code, more robust system.
So this Bitcoin maximalist view is, if security is your top priority, sell your ETH, go all in on Bitcoin.
That's their take.
So what makes Bitcoin's security model so appealing?
Well, for starters, it's got a proven track record. Over a decade.
Yeah, it's been through the ringer.
It has, weathered countless storms, and yet its core protocol has remained secure.
Right.
That resilience comes from a few key factors.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So a few key strengths make Bitcoin security appealing to the maximalists. First, its simplicity. Remember we said, complexity kind of breeds vulnerability?
Yeah, yeah.
Bitcoin's code base, it's comparatively smaller.
Okay.
Easier to audit.
Makes sense.
Less susceptible to those unforeseen bugs or exploits.
All right, so it's like that old KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid.
Exactly. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best.
Yeah, less to go wrong.
Exactly. Then, Bitcoin's consensus mechanism, proof of work,
right.
That's considered really secure.
Okay.
Like, it requires so much energy to alter the blockchain,
Yeah.
makes it super expensive and basically impractical for attackers.
So it's like that fortress that's just impenetrable.
That's that solid foundation.
It's built on bedrock.
Exactly.
Tested and true.
And then, of course, you've got the inherent security of Bitcoin's multisig,
Right, right.
which we've talked about.
Yeah.
Having that built in just provides this like fundamental layer of protection.
Okay, so Bitcoin's security model.
Yeah,
It's simple, robust, decentralized.
it is.
But let's be fair.
Okay, yeah.
Ethereum has brought a ton of innovation.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, smart contracts have opened up so many possibilities.
DeFi, NFTs, yeah,
Yeah,
the whole world.
yeah. So Ethereum has definitely pushed the boundaries.
Oh, yeah, I mean, its contributions can't be denied.
Okay.
So we have to acknowledge the trade-offs.
Yeah, yeah.
More complexity, more vulnerability.
So for someone like me,
Yeah.
I'm holding some ETH. I'm trying to figure this all out.
Right.
What's the key takeaway? What should I be thinking about?
Risk assessment.
Yeah.
You've got to understand those security concerns. Factor them into your decisions.
So don't just like blindly sell all my ETH.
No, but don't ignore the risks either.
Right. Find that balance.
Exactly. Do your research.
Okay.
Understand the potential downsides.
Mm.
Diversify. And never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Solid advice.
Basic stuff.
So we've unpacked this whole Bitcoin maximalist perspective.
We have.
And their big takeaway is this. Complexity, it breeds vulnerability.
It does seem to.
Makes you think because everyone's pushing for more complex applications, you know?
They are.
Is that inherently at odds with security?
Yeah, I mean, are we building on shaky ground here?
Right. And it's not just about, like, losing money in these hacks.
No,
It's about trust.
It is, because if people lose faith in these systems, the whole thing crumbles.
Right, right.
It's built on trust.
So what's the answer? Do we need to, like, bump the brakes on all this innovation?
I don't think there's going back,
Yeah.
We can't just put the genie back in the bottle. But we need to think about the trade-offs,
Yeah.
Can we build complexity in a more secure way?
So it's like find that balance.
Yeah, finding that sweet spot.
Push innovation.
Yeah.
But prioritize security.
So we're not building castles on sand.
Exactly. So for everyone listening out there, I think that's the main takeaway
It's a good
from this deep dive, whether you're, hardcore Bitcoin, Ethereum enthusiast, or you're just starting out.
You're just dipping your toes in.
Question everything.
Yeah.
Do your research, understand the risks.
Absolutely.
And remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
It's a long game.
The future of blockchain, it's still being written,
It is.
And it's up to all of us to make sure it's a secure and sustainable one.
Couldn't have said it better myself.